It's a heist that inspired the movie The Italian Job. A group of men dig a tunnel into a bank vault and get away with millions of dollars worth of jewelry, cash, and trinkets. It's truly one of the most daring heists in history, and it's likely that many of you haven't even heard of it. This week, we go beneath the streets of London and enter the infamous Lloyds bank vault. I'm Jen. Thanks for being with us for another week of Two Crime Newsies.
Hello, friends. I'm Tina.
Tina is coffee buzz.
Do I have a coffee buzz going? I love it.
I love it too. Tina's all lively and using all these like hand gestures.
Dancing in my seat.
Ooh, ooh. Well, I'm also dancing in my seat because I am excited for this week's episode because as our listeners may know by now, Tina and I are heisties.
I love that word. We don't do heists.
No. I don't think you and I could ever be criminals. Like, no. we would be fumbling and bumbling, and we would get caught like 2 minutes after doing anything.
Absolutely. But we like to watch documentaries of other people who do this stuff.
Very true. And I also have a very big mouth, so I feel like I would be so excited that I would just have to share it with everybody.
Jen would tell the world that we did a heist. That would be our downfall.
We were talking about this before we started recording this morning, and I am very like, I meet somebody and I'm instantly like, hey, we're gonna be friends. You know me for 2 minutes. Like, hey, I'm your friend now. And Tina's like, it takes me more than a year to like warm up to people.
Right. I don't know right away if I want to be super close friends. Jen forced me.
Yeah. Maybe this is why the like first year of me working for you as your intern, you weren't all lovey-dovey like you are now.
No, of course not. First off, that's a work environment. You know, I've got things to do. That's not a good excuse.
Okay, with that being said, are you ready to get this week's episode? I just want to jump in.
Okay, let's not go too fast though, because I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
This is a great story. I'm going to go watch the movie after we're done with this episode. I want to see what that's all about.
You've never seen The Italian Job?
I'm sure I've watched it way back when. I can't remember it though.
There's a couple of different Italian Jobs. There's the original one that came out way before when you and I were born. And then there's the one with like Mark Wahlberg, Charlize Theron. It's so good.
I didn't know there were two versions. Have you seen both versions?
Yes.
So it's worth watching both
yes.
versions? Okay.
Yes. Go
right.
watch, my friend. But yes, we will take it slow on this episode. Tina was sitting here doing this little like finger thing where she's touching her finger. What are they? Finger pads?
Finger pads. Oh my gosh.
What are those things called? It's the pads of your fingertips.
I don't know.
She was like putting her finger pads
Fingertips is what they're called. I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation.
These are pads, though.
In our very first episode, you called them finger pads, and I believe they are indeed fingertips.
Okay, Tina, let's just come on.
We have not evolved.
I have not. Hey, it's all about getting those laughs, right?
True.
Okay, so this week we're talking about a show on the History Channel, and the episode we're talking about is called Baker Street Bank Burglars Make Off with Millions, and it's from the show History's Greatest Heists. Tina, there's an entire series dedicated to heists. More heists for us to cover.
I love that you found this for us. I immediately went to look it up and saw there is 1 season and 8 episodes. It's not a ton, but you know what that means? We can definitely watch and recap them all.
Come on, my heisty friend. And to make it even better, Tina, guess who narrates the show? None other than Pierce Brosnan. You know who he is, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure. He's an actor and producer who's best known for Bond. James Bond. Who better to narrate a show about heists than Bond himself?
Good point.
Brosnan has been in more than 100 movies and shows and has been nominated for Golden Globes and has won countless other awards for his work. So today's episode. Let's do it, my friend.
Go for it.
The show opens and we're looking down on the skyscrapers and a busy roadway of London, England. We're told that in the early 1970s, London is basically described as the hangover following the swinging 60s. Wow, Tina, what a line.
First line we hear, and I don't even know what to think about that. Hangovers are pretty terrible. So they're saying it was a terrible time. Ben Ando is the first person we see on screen. He's a former BBC crime reporter, and he says during this time, unemployment was high while economic growth was low. And then he says that the London underworld had their eyes set on Lloyds Bank.
I'm here for it.
Jen, who is the London underworld? Is the London underworld like the dark web? How do you find the underworld, and how does he know this information?
Not a place for you and I.
I have so many questions.
I know, right? Like, it's one of those things you hear people talking about the dark web, and I'm like, I don't even know how people access this. Like, is there a website called thedarkweb.com? Like,
For real.
you know, like how do... I mean, again, you and I are not crime people, so we have no clue. But, like, how do people get to these places?
I have no idea. How did they find that it existed? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have these questions. So then Ben says one of my favorite lines, and it sounds like it's out of a James Bond movie. Ando says the underworld knew there were a lot of high-value items in a subterranean vault that they wanted to get their hands on. A subterranean vault.
I think of turtles when I hear that.
No.
Yeah.
I think of a submarine and mountains.
I think of, like, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles living underground, like, in the sewers.
Okay, I can see that. But at first, when you said turtles, no. You have to be more specific like that. I'm only familiar with one subterranean vault, which is the legendary treasure vault, supposedly buried somewhere on Oak Island, which has yet to be discovered. Have you heard of that?
No.
The Legend of Oak Island, Jen. If you don't watch that on the History Channel, you're not missing out because they haven't found it. But I'm so obsessed with watching it every season. It's just about 20 episodes of dig, 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 and find nothing.
What? Is it like a pirate treasure?
It is a treasure of sorts. We don't know exactly what kind of treasure, but supposedly a really big one.
You know, this is one of those things, like in Key West, when I was down in Key West, I was like, there's so much treasure, I think probably buried. Granted, I do not dive, like, you know, go with my little flippers and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't do that because I'm scared of sharks, but I'm fascinated by it. Like, you know, there's probably like piratey type treasure out there.
Jen, as many times as I've been to Key West, I have never had this thought.
Really?
I'm so disappointed in myself.
Okay. Have you done the tour, the ghost tour, where they take you in the old museum where,
Yes.
yeah, like, and they talk about the, like, piratey things?
Okay, maybe I did a different one. I don't remember the pirate stuff.
Oh.
So I must have gone on a different ghost tour.
Yo
There's
ho,
a few.
yo ho.
Yo ho
Pirate's
ho ho.
Life. A pirate's life for me. I love Disney. It's my favorite ride at Disney.
The
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caribbean. But yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. So we got Tina's subterranean vault here of Lloyd's Bank.
Not my subterranean vault. Lloyd's Bank subterranean vault.
Okay, Tina. So this is where I can use some of my heist lingo, which we've used in other episodes. The target, meaning the mark. Lloyd's Bank on Baker Street.
You know what I like about this show real quick?
What?
Okay, the graphics.
Oh, yeah.
So they have, when they do the target, it's like, bam,
Yeah.
the target.
Yeah. I like it.
And there's this fast-moving graphic on the screen. It says the target in these bold letters. I really, really like this. It's kind of like watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's very like, bam, bam, bam.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the target is Lloyds Bank on Baker Street. We're told this bank, which sits right down the street from 221B Baker Street, which is, of course, the infamous stomping ground of the legendary detective Sherlock Holmes.
Didn't know that.
What?
Your face.
What?
Well, I didn't know this was well-known information that people just knew where Sherlock Holmes, hung out.
The legendary character hung out. Yes, Tina. So Lloyds Bank on Baker Street is one of the most secure banks in all of London.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. And it's right down the street from where Sherlock Holmes used to hang out, despite Tina not knowing that.
I didn't. Are you disappointed in me?
I am.
We also learn on the show that this bank is like the Fort Knox of all banks.
When I think of Fort Knox, I just think of gold everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I just think of a fort. That's hard to get into. To get to the vault of Lloyds Bank is, according to the show, pretty much impossible. But we learn it's not impossible.
Nope.
There is one man who said, challenge accepted.
The man, the ringleader, was Anthony Gavin. We see a picture of Gavin on the screen, and he looks like an ordinary citizen. He's got brown hair that's combed to the side. He's got some stubble.
You got some stumble.
Oh, he's got brown hair that's combed to the side. He's got some stubble. He looks like he hasn't shaved for a few days in the picture we see. And overall, he looks like a nice guy. He looks like a normal guy. Maybe someone you'd meet at a local pub and have some drinks after work with on a Tuesday.
I have no idea what makes you come up with these backstories. Who goes out for drinks on a Tuesday? That's a Friday activity.
He's probably busy doing ringleader stuff on a Friday, Tina.
He is, actually.
We hear that Gavin had trained in the British Army, so we know he was disciplined.
He was also said to be a smart guy, and apparently his time in the British Army also helped him see the value in something much needed for this heist: teamwork.
Okay, let's get to the good part, Tina, the plan. And let me tell ya, boy, what a plan it was. Gavin doesn't want to walk into the bank wearing a mask and tote a gun like the soccer mom. Soccer mom bank robber with her toy plastic gun and shades on.
Hey, it worked for a bit.
Oh my goodness. If you guys haven't listened to that episode, go back and take a listen to it. It's another funny one that we put out a few weeks ago where a San Diego mom of 5 ended up robbing several banks, and it was a whole doozy of an episode.
Like right before she had to do carpool.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, but Gavin wanted something bigger than what she did. The plan: map out a tunnel, dig a tunnel under the streets of London, under the bank, and stop right underneath the bank vault. Then disable the vault's sophisticated alarms. So what does he do? Who does he call? Ghostbusters. Just kidding. Gavin starts building his team.
First up on the team, a man named Reginald Tucker. What a name! We see a graphic on screen with Reginald's face, and next to his name it says the Inside Man. That's his role. He is supposed to pose as a normal customer and try to get information about where the bank vault is.
This is something I don't understand. Like, is he going in pretending he has stuff that he wants to put in the vault? Or, I mean, they're not just going to give some random Joe Schmo off the street information on where the bank vault is.
I believe, yes, that is how it was probably done. He posed as someone who had some very valuable items that he wanted not in a regular security deposit box somewhere in the bank, but he wanted it super secure. Also important, Tucker is pretty anonymous to local authorities. He's not a known criminal. They send him in to open an account at the bank, but still he uses a fake name to open an account as G. Edwards. Tucker, aka Edwards, is also dressed pretty well. He walks in there looking like a high society guy. This is kind of like what the Pink Panthers do. They dress really well. They blend in with crowds at nice places like fancy jewelry stores. And we learned Tucker makes a deposit of 500 pounds. And also, if you haven't listened to our Pink Panthers episode, that's one of our favorite ones.
I love the energy in that episode. It's so good.
We talk about this criminal, what would you call it?
Organization.
It's not even an organization, really, though. It's kind of just a network of criminals that know how to do some heists in seconds. These are no amateurs, and they work around the globe. It was a really fun episode to cover because I had heard about a lot of these art heists and these big crimes, but I didn't realize that the people involved were called the Pink Panthers.
Yeah.
They sound so friendly.
They sound so friendly.
They are not. Okay, back to the story. The next guy on the team is named Mickey Gervais, also known as Skinny. And the show describes him as a trusted friend of Gavin's. And Gervais's description on the screen calls him the Alarms Man.
The Alarms Man.
We learned Gervais and Gavin have worked together before on these types of jobs, and Gervais is skilled at working alarms. His particular job here is to figure out how to get past the tremor alarms on the vault. Do you know what the tremor alarms are?
Yeah, it like sets off if there's any kind of like movement detected.
Yes. And another person on the team is a man named Bobby Mills. His job is to be the lookout.
Where did they find these people at? That's what I want to know. Probably at the pub on a Tuesday.
Where? Oh, probably, Jen, yes. That's exactly where they find them. Anyone who's at the pub on a Tuesday is sketch.
So with his team in place, Gavin starts scouting where he can direct the team to start digging. And as you can imagine, this isn't an easy feat since Baker Street is busy. There's people walking all around. There's cars. There's double-decker buses driving by. And you may be wondering why Gavin chose Lloyds if it's in fact so busy. Well, there's a lot of small businesses around it. They're opening and closing, and not long after coming up with a plan for the heist, a business closes down its doors and Gavin pounces. In the world of crime, it's often the smallest details that cost people the most, the things they didn't see coming. And when it comes to your home and auto insurance, overpaying every month without realizing it, that's a costly mistake.
That's where Quentin Brown with Shamrock Insurance comes in. Instead of locking you into one option, Quentin shops over 25 top-rated insurance carriers to find you the best coverage at the best price, so you're not left paying more than you should.
Whether you're a homeowner, driver, business owner, or even a truck driver, Shamrock Insurance has you covered.
No surprises, no wasted money, just smart protection tailored to you. So before your next bill hits like a bad plot twist, make the smart move.
Call Quentin Brown with Shamrock Insurance today at 512-337-2482 and let him shop for you. Because saving money should not be a mystery.
If you missed that number, it's 512-337-2482. We'll include it in the show notes. Don't wait. Give them a call today. The location of the business is only 2 doors down from the bank. It was a place called LeSac. LeSac.
LeSac.
We learned there's a basement in LeSac, and the location of the basement lines up with where the bank vault is. Okay, so let's picture this. On the screen, we see what this would look like if you were to look at this from underground. And they show us an illustration of 3 neighboring businesses. You have the bank on one end and LeSac on the other end with a business in the middle. Each of the businesses has a basement all lined up with each other. And the only thing that stands out from each of these basements is that the bank walls of the basement are a lot thicker than the others, which makes sense since it's a vault.
Yep.
We also learned that it's about 40 feet between LeSac's basement and the vault. 3 months before the heist, Gavin gets what the show calls a silent partner to lease the building. No one else on the team knows who this person is.
So the group sets off on their mission. While the city goes about its business, a tunnel is creeping closer, inch by inch, towards the vault. And after 9 weeks of digging with hammers, axes, and shovels beneath the buildings of Baker Street, the team thinks they've done it and are below the vault. They're going to have from 5 p.m. on Friday to 10 a.m. on Monday to steal money and items from the vault. And in case you're wondering, we hear it's during that time frame that the vault time locks will be disengaged.
Okay, I was extremely confused here because why in the world would the locks ever be disengaged for a bank vault? So according to what I found on my favorite source, Google AI, and Wikipedia, there was some construction in the area going on that kept making the tremor alarms go off. So those alarms were disengaged during that time frame, and someone tipped off the criminals about it. That's how they knew.
Whoa, and we never find out who tipped them off.
No.
Ooh, we hear the following weekend, it's time. 5 of the crew members make their way into the tunnel.
And Bobby Mills is on the roof of the building keeping an eye out for them. Although to me, seeing someone on the roof would be highly suspicious.
Okay, Tina, I want to create this image for our listeners. Are you ready? Close your eyes unless you're driving. Then please, please, please do not close your eyes. Tina, do you like when I do these visualizations?
Yes, it's like reading a book, which is my favorite activity. I, as you know, especially love when you make up the backstories in your head for some of these characters, talking about how they're probably fun to hang out with at a tailgate party or at a pub on a Tuesday.
Goals, not. Okay, so it's Saturday, September 11th, 1971, 7 p.m. The tunnel air is heavy. Dust hangs in the air from weeks of chipping through the London soil. It's dark. It's narrow. There's 2 feet of steel reinforced concrete between the bandits and the riches beyond measure. So what do? They supercharge a homemade bomb and blow a hole through the floor.
Sure.
Why not?
How does this not ring literal alarm bells somewhere? A flipping hole is blasted underground. I know that has to be noisy. There was no Chiron for this guy with one of my favorite lines in this show, so I don't know his name, but he says, using explosives in a tunnel is a great way to get yourself killed. And really, I just think that's common sense, right?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think that sounds like a terrible idea. With the supercharge in place, the men back up down the tunnel. Keep in mind that if the device doesn't blow just right, the men may be buried alive in the tunnel beneath the rubble. There's only one way to find out. They flip the switch and they're in. They've blown a hole through the steel reinforced concrete floor and they're in. It's now 10:30 p.m. and through the veil of dust and debris, the bandits, led by Gavin, make their way into the vault and get their first glimpse inside. Their eyes feast on hundreds of metal boxes stacked in perfect rows, neat, organized, secure, or so everyone thought.
Pierce Brosnan, yay, we hear him here. He says there's 1,000 safety deposit boxes in the vault and they hold millions. But that's not all they're seeing. The room is filling up with dust and there's rubble from the explosion. So now they have a big decision to make. Do they stay and grab what they can before they choke on all the dust and smoke? Or do they leave and come back to the vault a few hours later after the smoke has cleared so they have more time to take more stuff?
Tina, I know what I would do. I would come back another time. It sounds absolutely horrible to me. Imagine breathing all that dust in. It hurts my head just thinking about it. I don't know if you know this about me, but I get super feisty when I'm uncomfortable. I do. My husband will attest to this. I get pretty grouchy pretty quickly. So I think I would definitely back down that tunnel, make my way back to the storefront, and go outside for a bit of fresh air.
Okay. Well, rule followers do not find themselves in these extremely messy situations. But I'll humor you. If for some reason I was forced to be on this heist team, I'm out of there. Hazardous conditions are not for me.
This is why you and I could never do a crime.
No.
We just don't like being uncomfortable. You don't like to break the rules.
You talk too much.
I do. I talk too much. I would foil the thing before we even started.
Yeah, let's just stick to podcasting.
Yeah. Back to the story. It's 11 p.m. They're 4 hours into this, and that's when Gavin calls the lookout, Bobby Mills, and gives him an update on the situation. But there was a problem, Tina. A very big problem for these criminals.
The problem is a man named Robert Rowland, who Pierce Brosnan calls an amateur radio enthusiast. We see a graphic with his name and face, and below his name, they've given him the nickname of the eavesdropper.
That sounds like something that you would do.
Yes! The eavesdropper is 100% convinced that he's listening to people commit a heist. So as any good eavesdropper does, he records what he's hearing.
You rule follower, you.
Hey, eavesdropping is very safe activity.
This eavesdropper has the bandits' transmissions from the heist, and he has them recorded on tape. We hear he immediately called Scotland Yard, which is the Metropolitan Police Service, which is responsible for policing London. After getting the tip, some police officers are dispatched to the area and they meet with Robert, also known as the eavesdropper. He then ended up playing the recording for the police, and they now know that somewhere in London, somewhere in this massive city, there's a robbery going on right now, right at that very moment. So what do the police do? They start calling bank managers. Could you imagine being one of these bank managers? It's the middle of the night. Not to mention it's a Friday night and you've probably had a few drinks to celebrate another work week done.
Maybe not. It's not a Tuesday.
And you're half asleep in bed at home when the phone rings. First off, that's jarring enough. And then over the phone, you hear a police officer tell you, hey, somewhere in London, we don't know where, but somewhere, there's a bank being robbed right now. Tina, these people thought it was probably a practical joke. I mean, can you imagine this phone call?
Well, if I'm the manager of a bank, I'm on my way in my PJs to find out if they got my bank. And that's what happened. These bank managers were meeting up with police at their banks and going in together to see if a robbery had happened. Bank by bank, they do this. And they don't say how many banks there are in the area, but I imagine there was a good amount.
It's London, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Eventually, we hear police make their way to Lloyds Bank. By this point, it's Sunday, September 12th, 1971, and it's 2 p.m. It's the second day of the heist. The criminals are inside the vault. They're busting open those security deposit boxes and stashing valuables and cash in their bags. When suddenly, the lookout says over the radio, the old bill are outside, meaning the police are coming.
The bandits don't move. They freeze inside the vault. They don't make a peep.
The old bill are coming.
The bank manager walks with police to the vault, doesn't see any sign of a break-in, and then leaves with police. No one even thinks that someone could have possibly gotten in any other way.
Tina, the sigh of relief these guys in the vault must have felt. I'm sure they were hearing their heartbeats in their ears. The luck that police never opened that vault door, when truly on the other side of the door were these guys robbing the place. And then the lookout radios, you're all clear. So they get back to work, emptying those safety security boxes. And this takes us to Monday, September 13th at 3 a.m. They've spent 30 hours inside the bank vault. They're literally cleaning the place out. The bandits make their way back out of the tunnel and into the streets of London.
Then at 10 a.m. on Monday, bank employees start arriving for their shift.
Who goes to work at 10 a.m.? That's nice.
Yeah, let's go to London.
Yeah. I mean, that's nice.
Oh, yeah, because banks here normally open, around 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 a.m. is interesting. Mm-hmm. So the bank manager who was there with police over the weekend walks to the vault.
Oh, my gosh.
Opens it and sees it was robbed.
He was there.
He was just there.
As the word spreads around London about the vault break-in, police start talking, and that's when police find out how much was really stolen. It's estimated more than 1.5 million pounds. I, of course, needed to know how much 1.5 million pounds in today's dollar amount would be. Tina, they got away with what today would have been $2,047,747.
Okay, I have to say real quick, there's 5 of them working this heist.
Yep. You're going to do some math?
Quick math.
Okay.
My quick math is splitting 2 million doll hairs between 5 people is not enough for me to do this.
How much would that be, Tina?
Not enough. It would be not enough.
Tina's like, don't make me do math.
No. I would at least need to be walking away with, I don't know, 2 million of my own. This is a huge heist, Jen. You're digging tunnels through concrete, underground, and you only get off with $2 million?
No.
No.
You and I are out.
It's not enough. Are you sure you did that math right? 1.5 million pounds in today's dollars, 2 million?
That's what it said on Google.
Okay.
This takes us to October 1971, 2 weeks after the heist, when Benjamin Wolfe is brought in for questioning by police. Remember, he's the silent partner.
Wolfe is the silent partner. This is the first time we're hearing his name on the show.
But Wolfe was no rat. We hear that he never gave up the group.
What a guy to have on your team. That wouldn't be you.
No, I would be like talking. I really would.
Well, police aren't giving up. They start watching him and seeing who he talks to and who he interacts with.
Kind of like the Dunbar armored car heist in LA.
Oh, yeah, they watch over them. Mm-hmm. Stalk them, keep their eyes on them, see what they're up to. And they point out Gavin as someone that Wolfe communicates with. And authorities also recognize Gavin's voice. They say it sounds like a voice that the eavesdropper recorded.
Ooh, we hear that police start putting 2 and 2 together and knew that Gavin was behind the heist. And 7 weeks later, Gavin and the inside man, Reginald Tucker, are arrested. And both ended up pleading guilty and were sentenced to 12 years in prison.
And what about the alarm guy, Gervais? Just like he avoids setting off alarms, he avoids getting caught. Gervais completely disappeared, and to this day, no one knows what happened to him.
He disappeared completely, like the 3 prisoners from Alcatraz. I'm just throwing in all of our episodes today.
Sounds like he got to keep his share of the money.
Yeah.
Still wasn't enough.
Still wasn't enough. With all the mystery around this case, you know there's bound to be some conspiracy theories, Tina. You want to talk about them?
Go.
Okay, so one of the theories out there is that it's about protecting the royal family. I know, this got me. I was like, woo.
Scandalous.
Tell me more. Okay, so according to Spyscape, which I just have to say, I listen to Skyscape Media podcast episodes and have been for years, and they do all these spy type episodes, which I love. Okay, sorry, back to conspiracy theory. According to Spyscape Online, the case of the missing Lloyds robbery files has led to speculation that the heist was part of a move to recover compromising photos of a royal family member.
Why would those be at the bank?
Where else would they be?
What do you mean? Not at the bank?
They have a vault.
So does the royal family, I'm sure.
Probably. We hear that all the information about the heist is held in the National Archives and it's been heavily redacted. That's also a little suspect, don't you think?
Yes. Also extremely suspicious is that the files are under embargo for 100 years.
That's bizarre.
That means they won't be released for 100 years, and that's the year 2071. Why would documents be sealed for that long?
What's being hidden?
According to a BBC article not related to this bank heist, the article was a general article about confidential documents. It says keeping documents sealed for long periods like 100 years could mean there are some salacious secrets in those files.
Ooh, I like it. I want to hear what our listeners think about this case. Please send us an email or a message on social media and let us know what you think. Also, please share this episode with a friend. It really helps us get the word out about our podcast when you share our episodes with family and friends. Also, Tina, I found out that this heist is the inspiration for the movie Italian Job, so you gotta watch it now.
Oh yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the episode. So yes, I'm going to watch both of them, the first one and the last one. My husband's really going to love this because he loves these types of movies.
I got you, friend.
I'm only interested because it is related to an episode that we're covering now.
Uh-huh, it's really cool.
And then if you also loved this episode, please give us a 5-star review on any podcasting platform. And hey, if you want to contribute to our coffee fund, you can do that at buymeacoffee.com/2crimenewsies or visit 2crimenewsies.com. Hit that Buy Me a Coffee button. We certainly appreciate any contributions.
Definitely. What an episode. I really liked it.
This was so fun.
I love our energy when we do these heist and not crimey. You know what I'm talking about?
We definitely come more alive with the heist and the spy stuff. Yeah, I think we found our faves.
Yeah. I mean, we still do the crimey ones occasionally.
I think what it is you know a lot about them. You know a lot about these serial killer stories, and I think those are still important for us to cover, especially because you have so much information about them. I really like these types of stories. I think that they are less violent.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite part.
Yeah. All right, you newsies out there, thanks again for joining us for another week of 2 Crime Newsies, and we will talk to you guys again next week. Bye. Bye.